Picture this: Berlin, 1940. Hitler celebrates victory. His army chief hails him as history's greatest warlord. From Moscow, Stalin sends congratulations to Hitler. Churchill is isolated. Roosevelt stands aloof. The relationship between these four men would change. Their nations fought a war of weapons and of the mind. A European war evolved into a war for world domination. Psychological duels of lies, schemes, and deception. These duels took place between supposed allies. Their behavior was egotistic, monstrous, and selfish. The duels of the warlords decided history's battles. A seismic shift from European empires to superpowers. Salzburg, 1939. Hitler thought the unthinkable. He wanted to invade Poland before the autumn rains. Britain and France would go to war for Poland. Russia turning against him was Hitler's greatest fear. A pact with his ideological enemy Stalin was needed. Hitler instigated a mental duel with Stalin. Stalin was deeply suspicious of Hitler's approach. He underlined Hitler's views of Bolshevik leaders. Stalin saw Hitler was desperate for a deal. Hitler offered to send his foreign minister to Moscow. Ribbentrop landed in Moscow on August 23rd. Hitler needed reassurance and sent his photographer. Stalin passed Hitler's test. The Nazi-Soviet Pact was signed. Picture this: August 22nd, 1939. Hitler's propaganda chief notes a perfect trap. With the non-aggression pact with Moscow, he felt they could sleep more easily. On August 23, 1939, a delegation landed in Moscow. Hitler needed reassurance. He sent a photographer to film Stalin's earlobes. He wanted to know if they were ingrown and Jewish or separate and Aryan. They were separate. Stalin passed Hitler's test. The Nazi-Soviet Pact was signed. Germany and Russia would carve Poland into two. Hitler phoned someone, saying it would hit like a bombshell. It was not strength, but fear of Stalin that forced Hitler into history's biggest U-turn. The Führer believes he's scrounging for favors, and beggars can't be choosers. In the Kremlin, Stalin proposed a toast to the German nation's leader. Like Hitler, Stalin was acting from fear that Hitler would attack him. He told his inner circle it was all a game to see who could fool whom. Stalin had found a bedfellow for whose cunning he had a long and sneaking admiration. Back in 1934, Stalin observed Hitler eliminated rivals with skill. Hitler had no such admiration, dreaming of an alliance with Britain while expanding east. Only when that plan failed did Hitler see in Stalin someone he might do business with. Stalin was a mass murderer, his terrors killing millions. He compared his victims to landowners massacred centuries before soon forgotten. A week before invading Poland, Hitler eerily spoke of mass murder as state building. For both men, mass murder was just another weapon in the ideological struggle. The state was supreme, individuals were disposable tools. Hitler had secret mistresses, but publicly his lover was Germany. Stalin married twice, but his second wife's suicide brutalized him further. A true Bolshevik shouldn't have a family, he said, but give himself wholly to the party. Stalin told his son, "I'm not Stalin. Stalin is Soviet power now." Picture this: Hitler, a man married to his nation, Germany. Stalin, twice married, hardened by personal tragedy, echoing Hitler. He declared a true revolutionary gives himself to the party. August 1939, two warlords linked despite their differences. Days after their pact, Hitler invaded Poland, sparking war. Stalin supported his collaborator, blaming England and France. The enslavement of Poland united the proponents of violence. Mass murder began influencing Hitler profoundly. Stalin's secret police committed similar massacres. The dictators faced their destinies hand in hand. Delusions gripped them, leading to colossal error and conflict. Stalin believed the pact would protect the Soviet Union. He saw a war between capitalist countries ripe for exploitation. Stalin eyed the chance to expand his communist empire. Hitler saw the pact as a door to conquest, focusing on France. Goebbels noted Hitler's hopes for long-term collaboration. Hitler believed Stalin would profit, ensuring loyalty. Stalin saw no loyalty, remembering Hitler's ambitions. Hitler desired Russian territory for the new German Reich. Stalin built buffer zones, preparing for a Nazi attack. He forced the Baltic states to accept Russian garrisons. He warned, "Be prepared," others who weren't paid the price. The Germans might attack, Stalin knew. Imagine Europe, where Russia and its satellite states dominate the map. Stalin, fearing Hitler's betrayal, began building buffer zones. He coerced the Baltic states into accepting Russian garrisons. To a Latvian delegation, he warned of the need for preparedness. Those unprepared, he said, would pay the price if the Germans attacked. Stalin also pressured Finland for territory, but the Finns refused. Stalin invaded Finland, leading to a disastrous winter war. The Finns were beaten, but not before inflicting heavy losses. 125,000 Russian soldiers lay dead. Stalin blamed his commanders, but his terror was the real cause. The Red Army's incompetence comforted Hitler. March 15, 1940. He believed Russia posed no threat if Stalin purged his generals. Hitler saw the alliance with Russia as advantageous so far. May 10, 1940, Hitler launched his blitzkrieg to the west. The German army swept through France, Belgium, and Holland. The British were driven from the continent, a triumph for Hitler. Russia's Prime Minister recalled Stalin's nervous reaction. He cursed the French and English for allowing Hitler's victories. Stalin knew the Germans sensed Russia's weakness from the Finnish War. June 17, 1940, the French government sued for peace. Stalin's anticipated war of capitalist and fascist states was over quickly. Hitler celebrated while Stalin grudgingly sent congratulations. Hitler wanted peace with Britain, a break from conquest. Stalin feared Hitler would turn east, expanding his empire. Stalin embarked on a risky strategy of land grabs. He occupied the Baltic states and Bessarabia. Stalin feared Hitler, fresh from victory, would expand east. He risked a double strategy: land grab and avoiding Hitler. He took Baltic states Bessarabia, but invaded Bukovina. Hitler was alarmed by Bukovina beyond their agreement. June 25, 1940, Bukovina is beyond agreements. Stalin's duel twisted as Churchill sent him a letter. Churchill warned Stalin of Hitler, asking him to join Britain. Stalin showed loyalty, reporting Churchill's approach to Berlin. Hitler interpreted Stalin's actions and Churchill's approach. Hitler saw his brain as a calculating machine. Information formed pictures. He pressed a button for the sum. Hitler's machine built a conspiracy theory with consequences. July 6, 1940, Hitler returned to Berlin to cheers. Ecstasy filled the city. The station looked like a hall. Hitler's army chief called him history's greatest warlord. Hitler wondered why Britain didn't make peace. He thought Britain relied on an external factor. July 13, 1940, Britain hopes in Russia. July 19, 1940, Hitler pleaded for peace. Churchill and Britain weren't interested in his plea. The United States entered Hitler's mind. Roosevelt attacked Nazi aggression in his speech. Hitler saw spectres America and Russia. July 22, 1940, Britain hopes for America and Russia. Stalin flirts to tie us down. Hitler retreated to the mountains. The delusion was building in the summer before. Imagine Hitler's mind as Roosevelt ran for president a third time. Hitler saw spectres believing Britain hoped for American change. He thought Stalin flirted with Britain, keeping Germany tied down. Hitler retreated, his delusion growing in the mountains. He now suspected Stalin, reflecting on their past pact. In July, he told his generals Russia was Britain's reliance. Something in London perked Britain up, he thought. With Russia smashed, Britain's hope shattered, he believed. Crushing Russia sooner was better, he decided in agony. Starting in May 1941, 5 months to finish. Two delusions, war already won, secret deals brewing. These led Hitler down the road to catastrophe, it seemed. Russia was a contingency if Britain wouldn't make peace. Autumn 1940 brought 4 months of frustration. The Royal Air Force defeated the Luftwaffe plans, shelved. Despite setbacks, Hitler kidded himself he'd done enough. War is won, rest is time, he said in October 1940. But he couldn't force Britain to terms, split-minded on Russia. He moved troops near Russia, wanting Stalin to fight Britain. Hitler, depressed, didn't know how things should proceed. Then Russian Foreign Minister arrived in Berlin, November 12th. Conversations were tense. Hitler offered Russia spoils of victory. England's capitulation is time, empire fragments everywhere. Think of this masterless property after our victory, he said. Stalin wasn't interested, wanting to know about troops. Molotov asked bluntly, infuriating Hitler and reinvigorating him. Picture this 1940 as tensions rose at Hitler's doorstep. Imagine Molotov posed direct questions while Hitler offered vague replies. Molotov's arrogance and demands for territory infuriated Hitler. The 15th of November, 1940, revealed Russian plans. Molotov's words exposed the truth, relieving some in Hitler's circle. Stalin realized Hitler was turning against him after Berlin talks. Early December, Stalin warned his generals of Hitler's ambition. Stalin hoped to delay war for 2 years, but Hitler moved faster. December the 18th, 1940, Hitler issued Directive 23. The directive prepared the army to crush Russia after England. The invasion was set for May 1941. Yet, uncertainty lingered. Hitler himself seemed unsure, concerned about Russian strength. He hoped England would surrender and America would stay out. Hitler made the decision a war on 2 fronts, avoiding it before. He believed Britain was won, needing only Russia's defeat. Stalin did not consider Hitler's reasoning. It seemed illogical. Stalin thought Hitler would need to deal with Churchill first. Early 1941, Stalin warned of a German attack. Stalin believed Hitler had to avoid a war on 2 fronts. Stalin trusted Hitler to act rationally, but he was wrong. Stalin was methodical, while Hitler was an idle dreamer. Hitler found inspiration in the mountains of Obersalzberg. He contemplated for hours, finding brightness in his mind. The big idea reasserted itself, the struggle against Jews and Bolsheviks. Sometimes distance brings clarity. Submerged in details, the big picture fades. For Hitler, grand ideas overshadowed small facts. Russia was a tactical target. The true goal, ideological war against Jewish Bolsheviks. A chilling ambition. 1940 Jews unmentioned. But January 30th, 1941, a threat re-emerged. In spring 1941, Hitler's aims were brutally clear to his generals. March 3, 1941, a showdown of ideologies. Jewish Bolsheviks must be eliminated. March 30th. Forget comradeship. This is a war of extermination. A brutal campaign. Hitler planned annihilation. Stalin believed he had a year to prepare. April 13th, 1941, a pact with Japan to protect his back. Stalin, thrilled, got tipsy. But friendship was a fantasy, a short-term illusion. He told graduates, "War is coming and the enemy will be Germany, but not yet." Stalin's reasoning was irreproachable, preparing for the conflict with Germany. A bizarre twist, a second letter from Churchill, electrifying their duel. Churchill warned of German troop movements, preparations for a Nazi attack. Stalin was suspicious not of Hitler, but of Churchill's motives. Britain is threatening us with the Germans, and the Germans with us. May 10th, 1941, Hess flew to Scotland, a strange moment. Hess parachuted to the ground in Scotland, an unexpected arrival. Stalin's assistant, Yuri, documented everything, a secret record. Churchill's message and Hess's flight led Stalin to a conspiracy theory. This theory would have immensely destructive consequences for his country. 3 days after Hess landed, Stalin interpreted the events. Churchill warns of Hitler's intentions, but the British meet Hess. Churchill believed we would activate our military machine, Stalin concluded. Hitler would then have a direct and fair reason to attack, Stalin surmised. Picture this. Hess's flight fuels Stalin's darkest fears. 3 days after Stalin saw conspiracy everywhere. Churchill's warning, Hess's arrival, a deadly game. Stalin believed Churchill sought war between Germany and Russia. Churchill, in Stalin's eyes, wanted Germany to strike first. June the 5th. England, France, and America aided the Nazis. They sought to rid themselves of Bolshevism. This became a blinding article of faith for Stalin. Intelligence reports warned of imminent German attack. Stalin dismissed them as conspiracy to provoke him. June the 12th. Hitler will not risk a second front. Hitler is not such an idiot, Stalin declared. Operation Barbarossa neared the duel, reached its endgame. June the 16th, 1941, Hitler saw destiny. "We will annihilate whether right or wrong," Hitler said. A spy warned of attack. Stalin told him, "Tell it to his mother." June the 18th, generals pleaded for full alert. "Germany will never fight Russia alone," Stalin insisted. June the 20th, Hitler chose his fanfare for victory. Stalin refused to see it, but the Nazis were coming. June the 21st, rumors multiplied on all sides. Molotov said, "The situation is unclear, a major game underway." June the 22nd, Hitler followed Napoleon's footsteps. 3:30 a.m. The attack begins, the greatest deployment. "We have no option but to attack this cancerous abscess. Stalin will fall at." Picture this, Molotov's warning of an unclear situation. June 22nd, Hitler's invasion mirrors Napoleon's. Imagine 3:30 a.m. The attack begins. The greatest deployment in world history unfolds. Hitler: "We have no option but to attack." Stalin summoned to the Kremlin: "Germany has attacked." Stalin: "They attacked us viciously like gangsters." His conspiracy theories shattered, his misreading total. Hitler: "I again feel spiritually free." Operation Barbarossa cleansed Hitler, shocked Stalin. Stalin's fury directed at Hitler and his own generals. Those responsible must lose their heads. Lenin founded our state, and we've messed it up. The Red Army was in headlong retreat. The Russian campaign has been won, in 2 weeks. Barbarossa turned the war on its head. Never put yourself into the mind of the other person. Stalin had lost the mind game. Hitler outwitted him. Hitler's decision signed the death warrant of his dreams. It would create an unlikely coalition. The relationship began with a mental duel, riddled with mutual suspicions and false promises. It, too, would shape the destiny of the world. Be on guard. The attack begins. The war has begun.